Good evening. My name is Diego Hanacua Cortez, and I am joined by Jonathan Ayon and Andy Pasillas with Los Angeles City Planning. I'm the hearing officer for tonight's public hearing for the Boyle Heights Community Plan update. I'd like to make some announcements in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking participants first. Tenemos traducción en español disponible usando el botón de interpretación en su pantalla. Si está llamando por teléfono, no podrá escuchar la traducción en español. Si necesita traducción en español, por favor, únase por la aplicación de Zoom. Si está llamando por teléfono, todavía puede dar su testimonio en español. La audiencia pública será traducida en el español. Por favor, use el botón de interpretación para seleccionar español. Muchas gracias. Before we get started, I want to acknowledge that this meeting is occurring during a difficult time in the history of Los Angeles. Los Angeles City Planning is against all forms of hate speech, race, ethnic, and gender-related harassment, as provided by Senate Bill SB 1100, Article 16 of Chapter 4 of the Los Angeles Municipal Code, and Executive Directive Number 27. The department is committed to racial justice, equity, and inclusivity in all its internal and external engagement regarding any city-related business. Our department is committed to making public hearings a safe place for all its participants. The proposed community plan update will guide land use and development within the Boyle Heights Community Plan area. As part of the Boyle Heights Community Plan update, the city is proposing to adopt new community plan goals, policies, and programs that would accommodate anticipated housing, population, and employment growth, encourage transit accessible development, and provide new opportunities for affordable housing. The planning case number for the plan update is CPC 2016-2905 CPU, and the environmental case number is ENV 2016-2906 EIR. It is now 5:03 p.m., so we're going to start the formal public hearing. Thank you for joining us today and for participating in this public hearing. During this public hearing, we'll be hearing your verbal comments one at a time. I would like to remind the public that no decision will be made today. Following this public hearing, the City Planning Commission will consider this item at a later date. Please be advised the commission meeting will be a public meeting. However, the commission may limit additional public testimony on the matter, and the purpose of today's hearing is to receive public comments and meet the legal noticing and public hearing requirements prior to the commission taking action on this item. These public comments will inform the preparation of a staff recommendation report that will be submitted to the City Planning Commission. As a hearing officer tonight, my role is to hear public comments, and I will not be answering questions or discussing any of the comments. We ask that you please not use the Q&A box during the public hearing, as staff will not be responding to questions during the portion of the meeting. If you have more questions about the community plan and wish to also sign up to our interested parties list to receive email updates, please email staff at boyleheightsplan@lacity.org. Please note that this entire hearing is being recorded and the recording will be posted online. If you have technical issues with Zoom, locate the chat box in the panel at the bottom of your screen to send city staff a message. If you raised your hand early during the presentation or Q&A, it has now been lowered. Now, those who wish to speak during the public hearing should click on the raise hand button located at the bottom of your screen. Or if you are participating over the phone, press *9 and you will be placed in the speaker queue. To help guide planning staff tonight assisting with the Zoom logistics, I'm going to launch a poll to get a sense of how many verbal comments we can expect tonight. If you're joining us from your phone or computer, you should see a poll question pop up on your screen. Please fill out a response. Thank you. And I'm gonna take a brief minute so we could get some people trafficking the poll. Okay, just waiting a little longer. Thank you for your patience. We should be getting started in a few. Great, thank you. I don't see any more responses coming in. Just waiting for the poll to end. Great, thank you. Thank you for your patience. In addition to providing verbal comment, you can provide official testimony by submitting a written comment. Written comments submitted via email or hard copy will be reviewed in the same way as verbal comments made at today's hearing. These comments will inform the preparation of a staff recommendation report. If you prefer to provide written comments, or you want to submit written comments in addition to your verbal testimony today, or if you are having technical difficulties but still want to provide testimony, comments may be submitted by email or hard copy through November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Electronic comments should be submitted to Boyle Heights Plan at lacity.org. Again, Boyle Heights Plan at lacity.org. Hard copy comments should be directed to Ernesto Gonzalez, Community Planning, Los Angeles City Planning, 200 North Spring Street, room 667, Los Angeles, California, 90012. Please include the planning case number in your written comment. Please note that this is a public hearing and all are encouraged to submit comments. And you may hear comments differing in perspectives or opinions. If someone has already made points you wish to make, you may simply reference their comments. To ensure that everyone has an opportunity to speak tonight, we will be allowing individual verbal comments 2 minutes for each person. And we'll do our best to implement this standard in a way that is fair to all participants. Extended comments may be submitted in writing. Please try to limit the length of your comments and keep them related to the subject matter of this hearing. As a reminder, those who wish to speak should click on the raise hand button located at the bottom of your screen. Or if you are participating over the phone, press *9. If you wish to provide your public comments in Spanish, we have a translator available. Now we'll provide additional time to speak to accommodate the time needed for translation. Jonathan or Andy, our hearing coordinators, will call out one speaker at a time by name or by the last 3 digits of your phone number to provide your comment. You will see or hear a prompt stating that the host would like you to unmute. Please click unmute on your device, or if you are calling in, please press *6 to unmute. You will then have 2 minutes to provide a public comment. After you have given your comment, you'll be removed from the speaker queue and muted, at which point you may leave the public hearing or stay to listen to other comments. I will now hear testimony from those persons who have raised their hand or have pressed *9. To all speakers, when you are called, please state your name for the record. After your time is up, I will give you a prompt to wrap up your comments and staff will mute you. Please try to limit the length of your comments and keep them related to the subject matter of this hearing. If someone has already made the points you wish to make, you may simply reference their comments. Since participants today cannot see the speaker queue, our hearing coordinator, Jonathan or Andy, will read out 3 names at a time to let you know to be prepared. Jonathan or Andy, can you please let us know who the first 3 speakers will be? And then please call them by the name. Please call the name of the first speaker. Thank you.
No problem. Kimberly Alvarado, Natalie Godinez, y Maria Diaz. Please be prepared to speak. And Kimberly, go ahead and unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, Kimberly. Can you please unmute yourself? If you're on the phone, you could press *6.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Kimberly, loud and clear. Thank you.
Hi, hello. My name is Kimberly, and I'm part of the Eastside Leads Coalition. I appreciate the City Planning's Department dedication to working closely with community groups and in the revision process. But I want to urge you to incorporate the following changes to the current 2022 draft. First, do not move forward with the environmentally superior alternative to the proposed 2022 draft, also known as Alternative 3 in the draft EIR. More environmental analysis needs to be done before considering the introduction of mixed-use housing and commercial uses along the LA River. Therefore, please follow your own recommendation under proposed program 21 that calls for a study that looks at an assessment of the impacts that new residential development could have on local housing, employment markets, and also displacement risks to existing residential neighborhoods in order to inform future planning efforts along the LA River area.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments, Kimberly. Can we please have the next speaker, Jonathan?
Natalie Godinez, please state your name for the record and begin your comment. You have 2 minutes.
Hello, can you please unmute yourself or press *6 if you're joining us by phone?
Yes, can you all hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Please go ahead with your comment.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Natalie Godinez. I'm the Community Engagement Manager at Self-Help Graphics, and we are part of the Eastside Leads Coalition. Thank you so much for allowing us to make comments about this, the draft community plan. I want to emphasize that we would like to incorporate the recommendations to better preserve and protect the existing cultural resources and the existing residents who make culture in Boyle Heights by using the 3 community definitions shared by with city planning by Eastside Leads and the DEIR letter as guiding principles for community development. These definitions include culture, wellness, and utility. We also would like that there is investment in the existing cultural economy. For example, street vendors, visual and performing artists, including mariachis, and cultural bearers such as artisans and tailors and other people in the community that preserve the culture. And also, we would like to ask that the the cultural ecosystem of Boyle Heights is centered and further invested in. Examples are language, the different languages in Boyle Heights, the music, like the mariachi, different celebrations like Dia de los Muertos, Santa Cecilia, the Mexican independence, etc. The different foods that are in the community from people from all over Latin America and Mexico, wellness practices, healing modalities, culture as an essential part of healing and wellness, spirituality, and ways of learning and teaching. So with this, we would like to emphasize that the community is not just a set of buildings and construction, but also the people who live in it. And we would like you to consider alternatives to the way the plan is drafted to make sure that these cultures are preserved and that people are not further displaced by lack of culture. Thank you.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you for your comments. That concludes your time. I'm just gonna give our interpreter a second to catch up. Okay, Jonathan, can we please have the next speaker? Thank you.
Maria Diaz, please state your name for the record. You have 2 minutes.
Mi nombre es María Díaz.
My name is Maria Diaz, and this is my question is as a house owner of the Soto and First Street. How will this affect to us, and how much more or less, or when would you start on this project with the constructions? Because for us, all of this is new. And so we also have to be constantly thinking about whether or not this is going to affect us, to think about the possibility of moving, because it's a full family. It's 10 of us and it's a big property.
Gracias por sus comentarios, María. Pienso que escuché unas preguntas en sus comentarios. I heard some questions in the comments. Quiero recordarle que pueden mandar sus preguntas a boyheights@lacity.org. Gracias. Jonathan, can you please call the next 3 speakers on the list and then call the first name on that list? Thank you.
Yes, the next 3 speakers are Quetzal Flores, Itzel FCW Promesa, and Cynthia Gonzalez. Quetzal, you can now unmute yourself. Please state your name for the record and begin your comment.
Yes, thank you so much. Quetzal Flores with the Director of Membership and Wellness with the Community Powered Collective. And thank you so much for this time. I just wanted to read the definition of development as it is in the preamble of the UN Charter, the United Nations Charter. And that is a comprehensive economic, social, cultural, and political process which aims at a constant improvement of well-being of the entire population of individuals on the basis of their active, free, and meaningful participation in that development. And so, speaking to what I'm also part of the Eastside Leads Coalition, and just speaking to what Nathalie said, it's very important for us to raise the bar on what development is in this city. And especially considering the moment that we're in, that you mentioned at the top of this public hearing, and what's happening, at City Hall, and the diabolical ways in which this city and its development practices have harmed people, and have continually displaced and harmed people. And so we want to really encourage you to consider and to include these ideas around culture, that we're not just erecting buildings and creating zoning laws, et cetera. What we're doing is we're caring for people. And if you care for people, you have to consider who they are and the cultures that they're practicing, and the beauty and the power that they bring to these communities. And so all the things that Nathalie mentioned around the definitions that we worked so hard in collecting, along with this other information that is so pertinent, that's coming from a hard work of community members going out and consulting with community. Over 200 community members were consulted through what we call a cultural consulta. And we're asked the questions, what do you value culturally? And then shown these definitions and asked to sort of interact with what those values mean in these definitions. And so please consider what we're offering.
Thank you, Quetzal. Thank you for your comments. Jonathan, can we please have the next speaker? Thank you.
Itzel, please state your name go ahead and unmute yourself. Please state your name for the record and you can begin your comment.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Itzel Flores Castillo Wong. My family and I lived in Boyle Heights for many years, and I am also currently a community organizer with Promesa Boyle Heights, a collaborative of students, families, community members, and organizations whose mission is to have a healthy and thriving Boyle Heights. I am here today to continue asking the city planning team to ensure that the updates to the Boyle Heights Community Plan include policies that will allow for more affordable housing to be built in Boyle Heights, more green spaces, and multi-benefit green projects that will ensure Boyle Heights is resilient to the ongoing climate changes, transportation accessibility for the community to safely use and access, local employment, and much more. Specifically related to affordable housing, we need housing that will allow for our multi-generational immigrant families to access them without compromising Boyle Heights' cultural and community structure. Above all, we want to ensure that these updates will bring positive improvements to our community without bringing in gentrification or changes that would change the culture and essence of Boyle Heights. Many of these rich aspects, which were previously mentioned by a caller, Natalie Godinez. Within the community, we have engaged and heard from. Our worry with developing the land next to the LA River is also that it will create an opportunity for gentrification to jump in, something that has already been seen to happen on the other side of the LA River and the Arts District. With these concerns, I specifically wish the community plan to do more studies on the social impacts that changing the zoning of this area would cause. Thank you to the city planning team as well for your continued work on outreaching to community and getting their input, as well as outreaching with community partners. And ask that you continue working to ensure that these updates to this plan will be beneficial to Boyle Heights. Thank you.
Thank you, Itzel. Thank you for your comments. I'm just going to give it a second for our translator to catch up. Sorry about that. Jonathan, can we please have the next speaker, please?
Yes, Cynthia Gonzalez. You can now mute yourself. Please state your name for the record and begin your comment.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Can you all hear me correctly?
Yes, Cynthia, we could hear you. Can you please go ahead with your comments? Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Cynthia Gonzalez. I'm a longtime resident who migrated to Boyle Heights with her family. And so being a resident of Boyle Heights and living here and building my family here has been, very important for me to have a say into what happens in Boyle Heights. And so I'm just asking that as we continue to assess what is important for Boyle Heights, I just want us to take into consideration tenants and making sure that we are able to mitigate risk of tenant and resident displacements by adopting changes to the proposed community plan implementation overlay district. One of the most important things for me as a resident and tenant here in Boyle Heights is ensuring that large units are placed equitably within new developments and that these large units are not exclusively market rates. So, it's important that the city is clear with developers about what percentage of affordable units in the CPIO need to be larger units. Without a clear directive, many larger and low-income Boyle Heights households may lose out on desperately needed affordable units that will comfortably house larger and multi-generational households and provide a solution to the high overcrowding rates that residents face. And this is something that is really, really important for me as a tenant being here in Boyle Heights, also for me as an organizer with Eastside Leads. We come across many tenants who need to have more affordable housing. And so it's really important that we're able to adopt this into place. So one last suggestion is including policies and programs that protect rent stabilized units and other affordable units from demolition, such as, annual demolition cap, especially in the cases of speculators who demolish residential units and then wait to develop land parcels in hopes that the market will continue to raise land values. And so highly suggesting this. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you for your comments. I'm just gonna give a second for our translators to catch up. Okay, in the meantime, Jonathan, can you please call out the next three speakers and then call out the first person on that list? Thank you.
Sure. So we only have two more speakers in the queue. The first one's Katie McKeon, and the second one is BHCP Vivian M. Escalante. And actually someone else just joined. So the third one will be M. Rosalind, and then we have some other ones after that. So the first one, Katie McKeon, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Katie McEwen, and I'm a staff attorney with Public Council's Community Development Project. We are also a member of Eastside Leads, as many of the speakers have been so far. And we've been engaged in the Boyle Heights Community Plan update process for several years now. Just want to thank the planning staff for all the work that's gone into that process, and especially appreciate the time that they've spent doing outreach and education in the Boyle Heights community. I do want to uplift a few of the concerns raised by Eastside Leads in a letter that we recently submitted in response to the proposed plan and the draft EIR. They have been covered generally by the previous speakers, so I'll try to keep it short. First, we appreciate that in the current proposal, there is a change along the river from heavy industrial to light industrial, but that it does not currently include a proposal to introduce housing along the river. We have significant concerns about that possibility of introducing housing there. We don't want to see Boyle Heights turn into the arts district, and we have significant concerns about the gentrification that could be caused in a way that's causing displacement that we're now seeing in downtown LA. We also note that the draft EIR already states that there's a lack of park and open space in Boyle Heights already, which will worsen as the population grows. The LA River area is the greatest prospect for new park and open space, and that opportunity will be greatly diminished if we introduce housing there. We also finally have significant environmental concerns. about introducing housing in this area, given that it has traditionally housed industrial businesses and much of the land may be contaminated. Second, just want to reiterate what was said earlier about the larger 2+ bedroom units. We want to make sure some of those are affordable units as well. Thank you.
Kathy. Sorry, that concludes your time. Thank you so much for your comments. Can we please have the next speaker, please?
Yes, Vivian M. Escalante. You can now unmute yourself. Please state your name for the record and begin your comment.
Hello, everybody. My name is Vivian M. Escalante, born and raised in Boyle Heights. My family were displaced from Chavez Ravine, and we have also been participating with the community plan for many years. Just a few things that I'd like to address on behalf of myself and many others that may not be speaking today. But we want to make sure that you understand that Boyle Heights is the second oldest community in the city of Los Angeles, number one. Number two, the architectural design and elements by all of these developers is not being recognized or respected. And I think it's really important that if there is going to be any development, that they need to follow the historic architectural designs that we already have. And also, we are not including the missing middle. The missing middle are those of us that, came back to Boyle Heights unable to qualify for low income housing because we may make a little more money, but the whole thing is that there isn't anything for us here. Everything is affordable, so we need to go ahead and include everybody in order to rent these apartments, as well as nobody is talking about the abundance of seniors that are also unhoused, our veterans and people with disabilities. They should be on the highest priority of all. Then I want to also go ahead and also somebody mentioned putting a cap on development. I think that we wholeheartedly agree with that. There's too much demolition going on with all of our historic architectural homes that we have. Our duplexes are gone, our cottages are disappearing. It's really important, and that for housing, we should literally consider the housing that we currently have that is healthier housing. For example, Plaza del Sol, Wyvernwood, Estrada Courts, Ramona Gardens. So when you open your door, would you see your neighbors, landscaping? It's really important, and that's very, very healthy, unlike some of the development that we have on First and Soto, where you're going to lock everybody up into these properties. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you for your comments. Jonathan, can we please have the next three names on the speaker queue? And can you please call the first speaker, please?
Yes, so we have two more speakers. The first one, M. Rosalind Sagara, and the second one is Pamela. So M. Rosalind, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, we could hear you.
Sorry about that. This is Rosalind Sagara with the Los Angeles Conservancy. With respect to preserving and celebrating Boyle Heights cultural heritage, a strong emphasis has been placed on ensuring new development is compatible with select eligible residential historic districts and the Brooklyn Avenue neighborhood corridor on Cesar Chavez. While this approach is appreciated, it is limiting in its ability to preserve significant historic built resources in the entire plan area, including existing older and historic housing stock. And as some of the earlier speakers have pointed out, preserving and investing in its cultural bearers and cultural practices cultivated by the people who make Boyle Heights what it is. In addition, the Conservancy greatly appreciates the inclusion of policies and regulations aimed at protecting historic resources that haven't been designated. In particular, we would encourage the CPIO Historic Preservation Subarea B be expanded to include eligible historic districts identified in Survey LA and the Adelante East Side Redevelopment Project Area Survey, and resources identified as California Register and National Register Historic Districts. We welcome the opportunity to continue engaging in the process prior to City Planning Commission, and thank you for all the hard work that you and community members have been putting in to craft this plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you for your comment. We're just going to give it a second for our translator to catch up. Okay, Jonathan, can you please call the next speaker, please?
Yes, we have Pamela. Pamela, please go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. My name is Pamela Agustin. I'm a community organizer with Eastside Leads, and it's a coalition based here in Boyle Heights. I appreciate first and foremost the city planning, Boyle Heights Community Plan and team's commitment to making sure that tonight's hearing is a process that is inclusive, that is an inclusive one to community residents. I appreciate the fact that we can this meeting in English and in Spanish. Regarding the 2022 draft plan, I urge you to incorporate the following three statements. First, please do not move forward with implementing the environmentally superior alternative to the proposed 2022 draft plan, as stated in your draft EIR, because more environmental analysis needs to be done before considering the introduction of housing and other commercial uses along the LA River. Second, please mitigate risks of tenant displacement, resident displacement by adopting changes to your proposed CPIO district. And these changes can include policies and programs that further protect rent stabilized units and other affordable units from demolition. For example, please consider an annual demolition cap. Third, protect existing local small businesses so that by creating a program in which the city provides technical assistance, financial resources to businesses that are at risk of losing their business because they might be late on rent, or maybe they have a capital improvement. Oh, sorry. Was that my time?
Not yet. You still have about 30 seconds.
Hey, okay, cool. And then lastly, on Saturday, Eastside Leads and our partners hosted an event at Mariachi Plaza. I know that we encourage residents to submit public comments. So please, if you haven't done so, consider all of the comments that might have come through or are coming through this week. Those are, coming from community that is monolingual Spanish speaker. And I look forward to the next process in this process. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you, Pamela. Thank you for your comments. It looks like there's another speaker on the queue. Jonathan, can you please queue them up and call them by their first name, please?
Yes. Z. Melendez, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Yes. Hello, my name is Zulma Melendez. I'm a Boyle Heights resident, born and raised, and thank you for the previous comments. Gracias a los que han dado sus comentarios. My comment is on the proposed zoning around the transit, the ones that are on the map in red and orange. There are some very special historical homes in these zones, and I'm concerned that they are not zoned as residential so that they are protected. It's unfair that they are just included in like the whole umbrella of being close to transit. So maybe being more protected would be good. And to give you an example, it's the area on 3rd Street on the north side of Roosevelt High, like Maud and 3rd and Fickett and 3rd. In those areas, it's so beautiful and it's just zoned orange. So I'm very concerned of what will happen to that area in the future. And my other comment is the parking. Everybody knows there's problems parking, and I'm just concerned that future with all this building of more housing, which, it's good. But are we going to be able to maybe have the process of maybe wanting to build driveways a little easier, and maybe propose something to help with that matter? So those are my two comments. And yes, protecting, maybe not overlooking the historical homes that are under the red and orange. There's a lot of pockets in Boyle Heights that are very special, and that if they are taken away, they cannot come back. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. And I think I heard a a question in there, and I would again repeat that you could always contact staff at Boyle Heights Plan at lacity.org if you have any questions you'd like to follow up with staff with. It looks like, Jonathan, do we have any other hands raised in the queue?
Yes, we have one more in the queue. Oh, they just lowered their hand.
Okay, they just lowered their hand. Okay. So it looks like there are no more speakers in the speaker queue.
Actually, we just got another one.
Oh, okay, great. Go ahead and
Yes.
call them by their name, please.
So Zoom user, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Hola, mi nombre es Araceli Kawich y estoy, esto es muy importante.
Hello, my name is Araceli Kawich, and I think this is very important for the Boyle Heights community. We do need more housing services, especially for homeless people who do not have a place to be. And right now, cold weather is coming, rain is coming. It's a lot of senior people. So a lot of work has been done, but it's needed. And if something can be done at this moment before the worst winter, which is in November and December, January, February, all of those months, but let's start to do something for people that are living in their cars and living right now wherever they can, because they cannot be close to the freeway or to where they were. A lot of work has been done, but more of it is needed to keep the streets clean and the safety, especially starting with the homeless, and then later on we can deal with the rest of the cleaning aspects. But first, a human being needs a lot of help, especially people that are losing homes. I would love to be a support for these people and to do something. Thank you.
Gracias por sus comentarios. Muchas gracias. Jonathan, do we have any other speakers in the speaker queue?
At this moment, we have no other speakers in the queue.
Thank you. So it looks like there are no more speakers in the speaker queue. As a check, did anyone wishing to speak not yet speak? If so, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press *9 if you are joining us by phone. I'll just give it a second to see if anyone else raises their hand, or if you're calling in, again, press *9 on your phone.
Diego, looks like we have 2 new speakers.
Great, can you queue them up by their name and then call the first speaker, please?
Sure, so we have 2 speakers. The first one is Guille Quesada, and the next one would be Brenda Techchair. Guille Quesada, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Hola, buenas noches.
Hello, good night. My name is Guillermina Quesada, and my comment is, we have worked for a very long time about this since the first time that the community plan was laid out, and I invite the whole community to be part of this, to make a follow-up on this project, this great plan, and that every single resident might be benefited in any way, in housing, in jobs, and to be informed on every step taken in the community plan on Boyle Heights. Thank you.
Gracias, Guille, por sus comentarios. I'm just gonna give it a second just to get ready for the next speaker. Jonathan, can you please call the next speaker? Thank you.
Yes, the next speaker is Brenda Techchair. Brenda, please unmute yourself and start your comment.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Brenda. Yes, can you please state your name and give your comment? You have 2 minutes.
Hello, thank you so much. Oh gosh, it was such a difficulty. Anyways, I am glad that you called me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you for extending the time to submit public comments. I just want to reiterate what one of my biggest concerns. I chair the Transportation and Environmental Community Committee from the Neighborhood Council here in Boyle Heights, and the biggest concern is the change of zoning for industrial and areas that could be potentially contaminated for housing. So that's one of the biggest concerns. I also sit in the planning and land use. The other concern is that we are, I think we're not being totally equitable with all the other communities. We're building too many affordable housing in Boyle Heights, not low-income housing, not housing that could be green and sustainable. We are not supporting the homeowners and providing them with more programs and more money for developing in areas that are residential 1 or 2, where they can potentially take advantage of this change of zoning and expand their properties. And still we could potentially be able to afford housing. But instead we keep hearing from people who work with big developers like East LA Community Corporation, and those are monopolies here in our community. So we have to be very cautious of where this public comment comes from, and we cannot just make decisions. I know this has taken a long time, but we have to be very cautious how we move forward with Boyle Heights, because we have a massive number of developments. We just had 26 requests for demolitions in our committee in the past few months. So I think we have to be very cautious, especially given the situation in our LA city and the fact that we're not being represented at the city council level. So thank you so much for this time, and thank you to everybody who has taken the time to make this statement. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Brenda. Can we please have the next speaker, Jonathan?
Yes. Catherine Baltazar, go ahead and unmute yourself. You have 2 minutes.
Hi, yes, thank you for calling me. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to speak at this hearing. I'm also grateful for the city planning team who has been very transparent with the whole process. I have a few comments. I'm with Climate Resolve. I'm the climate policy analyst.
Can you please state your name for the record and then?
Sorry, my name is Catherine. I'm Catherine Baltazar. I'm with Climate Resolve. I'm the climate policy analyst and organizer. There's a few things that we're in support of that have already been mentioned before. So I'm gonna, just support a lot of what's been said by Eastside Leads specifically. And further, I want to support their letter that was sent over to the city planning department. I'm in strongly support policies that propose improvements to the transit rider experience through the strategic placement of sufficient bus shelters and seating, bicycle parking, safe pedestrian crossings, and wayfinding signage. I ask that priority be given to high-frequency bus routes as they are important to community members who rely on transit as a primary means of transportation. Furthermore, I would like to see hydration stations near transit stops and pedestrian corridors as they are crucial to preventing heat-related illnesses. I'm also in favor of the development of dedicated bus lanes on Soto Street and Whittier Boulevard. However, I would like to recommend the addition of Cesar Chavez Avenue, as it is both a main commercial corridor and services the White Memorial Medical Center, a nonprofit healthcare facility from serving Boyle Heights since 1913. I support the completion of a comprehensive bicycle lane network with dedicated bicycle signs. But however, I would like to see more protections from vehicular traffic to ensure that all riders can safely and comfortably reach their destination. I support creating buffer zones for industrial uses or areas located adjacent to a freeway and along high traffic roads. I encourage the use of both native and drought tolerant vegetation and shade trees as they are proven to filter particulate matter pollution. And I just want to, support that we're looking for more equitable distribution of resources for shade trees, and for awnings and other structures in the plan. I want to specifically again highlight the need for bus shelters and hydration stations along transit and pedestrian corridors to prevent heat-related illnesses and to greatly improve the plan's efforts to increase climate resilience. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for your comments. Jonathan, I think we're ready for our next speaker. Can you please call them?
Yes, our next speaker is John. John, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Hello, can you please unmute yourself or press *6 if you're calling in?
Does that work?
There you go. You're loud and clear. Go ahead.
Perfect. Okay, my name is John Fukumoto. My concern is on Evergreen and the conversion of the commercial section where El Tepeyac restaurant is, a cultural institution that's been around over 50 years. So I'm just wondering like why that's being, and what happens to the restaurant in that situation. That's a question more than a comment, but just wanted to put that out there. Thank you.
John, again, questions could be directed to planning staff at Boyle Heights Plan at lacity.org. Jonathan, do we have any other speakers lined up?
We do not have any more speakers on the queue at this time.
Thank you. So it looks like there are no more speakers in the speaker queue at the moment. As a check, did anyone wishing to speak not yet speak? If so, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press *9 if you are joining us by phone. Jonathan, has anyone raised their hand?
Yes, looks like we have one more speaker.
Perfect. Can you please go ahead and call them by their name?
Yes, Wendy, go ahead and mute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Hi, Wendy.
Can you guys hear me? Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes. Can you please
Okay.
we can
Yeah,
hear you.
my name is Wendy Gonzalez, and I'm a business owner here in Boyle Heights. And I just want to make public on the following. I want, for you guys to be able to protect local small businesses from displacement by the city, providing technical assistance and financial resources to small businesses like mine, and the associations that represent us, such as the First Street Business Association. These resources can support small businesses with necessary upgrades to our buildings and equipment, also by accessing legal support to assist in preserving, restructuring, and expanding their businesses, empowering, recovering from the COVID pandemic. It's been really tough on all of us small business owners.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for your comments. Jonathan, is there anyone else on the queue waiting to speak?
At this moment, we have nobody else on the queue.
Okay, thank you. So again, it looks like no more speakers are in the speaker queue at the moment. Please, again, as a check, did anyone wishing to speak not yet speak? If so, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press *9 if you are joining us by phone. Again, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press *9 if you are joining us by phone. Okay, so it looks like no more speakers have raised their hand. Thank you, everyone, for attending this public hearing to give public testimony. Thank you again, everyone, for attending this public hearing to give public testimony or to listen. For the moment, we have reached the end of the speaker queue. The public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. If anyone who has not yet spoken would like to speak, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press *9 if you are joining us by phone. If you have additional comments, please submit them to staff by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. I will wait to see if any additional speakers join the meeting or raise their hand. I will repeat these announcements again in about 5 minutes.
Diego, it looks like we have one more speaker.
Great.
In the queue.
Great. Can you go ahead and queue them up and then call them by their name, please?
Yes, Yolanda Rodriguez, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Yolanda, siga con sus comentarios, por favor.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Yolanda Rodriguez. I think that all of the people that are here are in the best interest for our community, and the concerns are from anyone of everything that has been repeated, trafficking, the housing, the accessible, that it's for people who actually need it, equity, because we need that equity. And to find out what are our individual needs, we also have that problem about the traffic, that it's affecting a lot. Sometimes we're over here in Boyle Heights, but on the line on Indiana, sometimes there is no support because they say it's just you're between the county and Boyle Heights. So we need to emphasize that area a lot because it's like a division there. So we just keep on going so that our sidewalks have, for people who are incapacitated, there are no sidewalks that are affecting with the trees roots, because we also want green areas, but using trees that do not damage our streets. So I really appreciate what you're doing to keep us informed and to keep trying to meet every one of the needs in our community. But also it will be very good that all of the community is informed about these maps to arrive to the houses, to avoid the division of groups that are lacking information. So thank you so much for your time and for the organizations that are keeping us informed and everyone in here. Thank you.
Muchas gracias, Yolanda, por sus comentarios. Jonathan, do we have anybody else in the queue waiting to speak?
Yes, we just got somebody else on the queue. So Eva Gonzalez, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Sí. Ok, sí, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Eva González.
Okay, yes, good afternoon. Yes, my name is Eva Gonzalez, and the concern that I have, the stronger one, is from the nursing facility, because they want to bring like 10,000 homeless. It's too many homeless in here in Boyle Heights to like bring more. So I'm really concerned about that plan that they have to make a community center, because that's how they put it, community center. It sounds like it's going to be something really good, but it's a disaster. They want to bring too many homeless. They're not okay. They need a retired place in which they can go out and to be better, not here inside of the city. I am really worried about that situation. That's all.
Muchas gracias, Eva, por sus comentarios. Jonathan, is there any other speakers waiting to speak?
Yes, we have one more speaker in the queue right now. Memo Granados, go ahead and unmute yourself, state your name for the record, and begin your comment.
Hello, Memo. If
Hola, buenas noches. Mi nombre es Memo Granados.
Hi, good night. My name is Memo Granados. My comment is focused on the demolishing of the community. I understand that when someone allows to make a house or apartments, of course, they're going to have to demolish the existing houses or apartments, but it is very important that the department is focused on the fact that the project that they're proposing, that the houses and the departments that they're going to demolish, that the tenants of them were not evicted in a legal way. For example, I know a lot of neighbors in which the owners evicted them out of the houses through harassment or illegal ways, and now those houses were demolished so the new owner can build their departments or their houses or their commercial space. So it is very important that the department is also focused on how their proposed project, how the space became possible, because many times when that project is proposed, they don't only focus on the fact that someone is going to get evicted. Sometimes people are already gone, and that is a problem that even the department is not in charge of that. They can work with another department in the city to focus their attention on that. And at the end, to the person that spoke last to me, the sun shines for everyone. If they want to build a center for the homeless people, it is important because actually we all deserve a home. So that's what I finished my comment with.
Gracias por sus comentarios. Jonathan, do we have any other speakers in the queue?
At this moment, we have no other speakers on the queue.
Thank you. So at the moment, it looks like no more speakers are in the queue. As a check, did anyone wishing to speak not yet speak? If so, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press star 9 if you are joining us by telephone. Thank you everyone for attending this public hearing to give public testimony or to listen. For the moment we have reached the end of the speaker queue, the public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. Again, if anyone who has not yet spoken would like to speak, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press star 9 if you're joining us by phone. If you have additional comments, please submit them to staff by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. I will wait to see if any additional speakers join the meeting or raise their hand. I will repeat this announcement in about 5 minutes. Hi everyone, it is now 5:59, and before transitioning to the second office, Fabiola Insunza, we will first take a 5-minute break for our interpreter. Our new hearing officer, Fabiola, will resume taking testimony from those who have their hands raised in 5 minutes. Please keep your hands raised, and we will continue in the current order of the queue.
Okay, buenas noches. Good evening. My name's Fabiola Insunza, and I'm joined by Jonathan Still, our hearing coordinator with Los Angeles City Planning. I'm the hearing officer for the next portion of tonight's public hearing for the Boyle Heights Community Plan update. Those who wish to speak should click on the raise hand button located at the bottom of your screen, or if you are participating over the phone, press *9. As a reminder, in my capacity as a hearing officer, my role is to take public comments, and I will not answer questions or discuss any of the comments. I'm going to provide 2 minutes for each speaker. The time limit will ensure that everyone has an opportunity to participate. When called upon, please remember to give your name for the record before you begin your verbal testimony. After you have given your comment, you will be removed from the speaker queue and muted, at which point you may leave the public hearing or stay to listen to other comments. And it looks like there are no more speakers in the speaker queue. So as a check, did anyone wishing to speak not yet speak? If so, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press *9 if you're joining us by phone. And as a reminder, the public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. But I will be making announcements every 5 minutes or so. Thank you. Okay, once more, thank you everyone for attending this public hearing to give public testimony or to listen. For the moment, we've reached the end of the speaker queue. The public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. If anyone who has not yet spoken would like to speak, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen or press *9 if you're joining us by phone. If you have additional comments, please submit them to staff by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. Today's public hearing is just one opportunity to provide feedback. Please submit written comments by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. for consideration in staff's recommendation to the City Planning Commission. Additional opportunities to provide feedback will be to the City Planning Commission and to the City Council. I'll wait to see if any additional speakers join the meeting or raise their hand, and I'll repeat these announcements about every 5 minutes. Thank you. Again, thank you everyone for joining tonight. For the moment, we have reached the end of the speaker queue, but the public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. And if you haven't yet spoken and would like to speak, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen, or press *9 if you're joining us by phone. And also, if you have additional comments you'd like to submit, please submit them to staff by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. And I'll just repeat the email address for those wishing to submit written comments. That email is boyleheightsplan@lacity.org. So again, thank you everyone for joining. We've reached the end of the speaker queue, but the public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. And if you haven't spoken yet and would like to speak, please raise your hand or press 9 if you're joining us by phone. Thank you. Hello again, everyone, and thank you again for joining us. For the moment, we still don't have any new speakers in the queue, but the public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. And again, if you have not yet spoken but would like to speak, please raise your hand or press *9 if you're joining us by phone. And if you have additional comments, please submit them to staff by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. And as a reminder, today's public hearing is just one opportunity to provide feedback. Please submit written comments by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. for consideration in staff's recommendation to the City Planning Commission. Additional opportunities to provide feedback will be to the City Planning Commission and then to the City Council. And I'll wait to see if there's any additional speakers joining the meeting or raising their hand, and I'll repeat these announcements about every 5 minutes.
Okay, Fabiola, looks like we have one person on the queue.
Great, thank you. Can you please queue them up and call them?
Yes. Phone number ending in 831. Go ahead and unmute yourself by pressing *6 and begin your comment. Phone number ending in 831. Número telefónico.
My name.
Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for taking my comment. My name is Vita Gashkai. I'm from Boyle Heights, and we are concerned about the Sears being turned into a community center. We don't agree with that zoning because we're not in support of the Sears being turned into a life rebuilding center for the unhoused, which sounds like a great idea. And we do need life rebuilding centers, but not at this scale and not in our severely underserved, densely populated area. We cannot have the Fred Jordan mission in Boyle Heights. We cannot have Skid Row in Boyle Heights. We already kind of do, but it's nothing in comparison to what it could be. And we do need to deal with the homeless crisis, but we need to have places that are small scale and other areas that are not in densely populated areas. So I disagree with the zoning, and I know a lot of my community does too. And thank you for the time. Don't change it to a community center.
Thank you for your comments. So it looks like there are no more speakers in the speaker queue. As a check, did anyone wishing to speak not yet speak? And if so, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen or press *9 if you're joining us by phone. Again, thank you everyone for attending this public hearing. For the moment, we've reached the end of the speaker queue. But the public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. If anyone who's not yet spoken would like to speak, please raise your hand or press *9 if you're joining us by phone. I'll wait to see if any additional speakers join the meeting or raise their hand, and I'll repeat these announcements about every 5 minutes. Thank you. Hello again. Thank you everyone for joining us. I will make some announcements in Spanish at this point. Tenemos traducción en español disponible usando el botón de interpretación en su pantalla. Si está llamando por teléfono, no podrá escuchar la traducción en español. Si necesita traducción en español, por favor, únase por la aplicación de Zoom. Si está llamando por teléfono, todavía puede dar su testimonio en español. La audiencia pública será traducida al español. Por favor, use el botón de interpretación para seleccionar español. So looks like we have another speaker in the queue. Jonathan, will you please call them? As a reminder, you have 2 minutes.
Fabiola, looks like this speaker has already spoke. Not sure if we're going to allow them to speak again, but this speaker has already spoken.
Okay, thank you. And as a reminder, each individual has an opportunity to speak once during this hearing. And if you have already spoken, you will not be called on again. But I do want to remind you that today's public hearing is just one opportunity to provide feedback. You can submit written comments by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. for consideration and staff's recommendation to the City Planning Commission. Additional opportunities to provide feedback will be to the City Planning Commission and then to the City Council. Thank you. Okay, once more, thank you everyone for attending this public hearing to give public testimony or to listen. For the moment, we've reached the end of the speaker queue, but the public hearing will remain open until the scheduled end time of 7 p.m. If anyone who has not yet spoken would like to speak, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen or press star 9 if you're joining us by phone. If you have additional comments, please submit them to staff by November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. I'll continue to wait to see if any additional speakers join the meeting or raise their hand. Okay, we've almost reached 7 p.m., the scheduled end time for the public hearing. It looks like there are no more speakers in the speaker queue. As a final check, did anyone wishing to speak not yet speak? If so, please raise your hand using the button located at the bottom of your screen or press *9 if you're joining us by phone. And I'll give it one more minute. Okay, it looks like there are no more speakers tonight. Thank you for taking the time to participate in tonight's hearing. We are very grateful for your patience and commitment to participate in this public process. This concludes the public hearing on the Boyle Heights Community Plan update. Case numbers CPC 2016-2905-CPU and EMV-2016-2906-EIR. Important comments were made today, and I realize that there may be more. If you have further comments on the Boyle Heights Community Plan update or have additional questions, please email them to boyleheightsplan@lacity.org or mail a hard copy to Ernesto Gonzalez, Community Planning, Los Angeles City Planning, 200 North Spring Street, room 667, Los Angeles, California, 90012. Comments may be submitted by email or hard copy through November 10th, 2022 at 5 p.m. This hearing is now closed. Thank you for participating this evening. Good night.